today you join me with this Suzuki Spacia Gear Turbo Hybrid in XZ trim. This particular car is finished in yellow too, and in this video I'm going to give you a walk around tour of the exterior and show you some of the cool quirks and features of the interior, so stay tuned for this video. So we'll start off with the front end of the Suzuki. Now I wanted to bring your attention to this little guy here. Now this is a parking pole, so you pull this up, so that means when you're driving along you can kind of see the edge corner of your car. This is kind of made redundant because this car is fitted with 360 cameras, but I thought I would show you today because it's quite cool. In my head, I thought you might want to pull that forward, so if you're driving towards a garage, end of your garage door or wall, that's going to beep off that, but realistically it's going to be for the parking pole. Now, the headlights in this car may look familiar to you UK viewers. These are the headlights of the current Suzuki Jimny, so that's quite a cool little feature up front. Now the rest of the car is very squared off. This is a very tall K car. Then we've got the nice Suzuki logo in the front, and it does have radar cruise control, which uses the cameras up here in the front, and we do have the aforementioned 360 cameras, the little camera lens down here below. So one design element I want to show you is this grille. Now this is designed to look like a zipper on a jumper. That's quite a cool little feature there. Now we'll work our way around to the side of the car because quite a few interesting features to show you. So this is the key fob for the little Suzuki. Now it may look like a normal Suzuki key fob, a little bit smaller, but we do have lock at the top, unlock, and two door buttons there. Now if I go ahead and hold that in, the door should unlock electronically, and that'd be handy if I push the right side. 3, 2, 1. There we go, and electronically these sliding doors open. Now how cool is that? Now you can even close it by holding in those buttons again, and both doors are going to close like so. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you that because it's quite a cool little design feature on the Suzuki. So we're going to have a look at the side of the vehicle. The fender's got this unique little design print into the side. This kind of looks like the curvature of the wheel, which I quite like, and these are 14-inch wheels, which is not something you see too often here in the UK. A little bit of K-car, and these are the upgraded alloy wheel design for the Suzuki. On the door mirror here we do have the indicator strip on the side and the 360 camera underneath, and we do have good visibility with the A-pillar being mostly glass, and then up top, as you can see, we've got the roof rails running across the side of the car. This car imprint is giving you van side profiles, tall, flat. We do have some body cladding on the side here, along with this kind of dark charcoal grey plastic on the side of the door card. Now let's have a look at the rear of the car, because this is where things get interesting. So what you're going to notice first is these high mounted lights. Now these are your tail lights and braking lights. I quite like the pattern on them because we do have 6 very strong LEDs. And then the indicator himself, it's got this kind of checkerboard pattern on top of the plastic, and even that on the side of the car here, we do have that same kind of check print as well. Now round on the rear, it is imprinting van again. It's quite boxy and tall. I love this yellow paint, and we do have this grey charcoal breaking up the rear. We do have parking sensors which are factory fitted to this K car. It is worth mentioning because it's an import. We do have the mandatory fog light if you are thinking of importing one of these from Japan, and we also have these little bears that are OEM, and the owner has added them, which are really cool to add to the Spacia Gear badging. I just think it's a nice little touch, and you can see the hybrid badging on the rear there. So on the silver trim here, we do have little free ridges there, just to let you know where you're going to pop the tailgate. Lift that up, and we do have a pretty spacious boot. Now what I like about this particular car is the fact it's highly configurable, because you can slide the seats forward and back depending on what you want to do, and you can pull these little tabs here, which is a little bit harder to do in one finger, but you can slide that forward and back, and you can fold the seats down if you require. Say for example you want a little bit more room, you can make it like a van. Now these little plastic bits here as well, if I pull this, that gives you a relatively flat floor, so you can put things in like a TV, bikes, whatever it may be, because you've got the tall utility space. It's a really well thought out rear end. So on the bottom of the plastic here, we do have little points here for the bikes to get ramped up into the car, and we've also got M6 holes here which allow you to buy accessory shelving or whatever it may be, so you can make more use of the space in the back of the Suzuki. Now one little cool quirk as well is this little reflector here. When the tailgate's closed, that allows you to look back and you can see directly below, so maybe if you're going to put like a tow hook on or something like that, you can line that up, or just if you don't want to park, you don't want to use your sensors, you're able to use that little reflector mirror there. So it's also worth mentioning, with the tailgate going above, that means you're going to be dry when you're loading in your shopping, or maybe you just want to sit and stare out at a scenic view. Yeah, it's quite a cool little feature just to mention here. And as you can see, I'm sitting here, got plenty of room in this car. So one of the advantages, as you've seen with the sliding doors, is you touch this button, it can electrically open, but it means if you're in a tight parking space, you're still able to go in and load in, you know, items you want to put in here. As you can see, if the seat's folded, that is pretty cavernous back here. Now let me go and put them back up and climb inside. So you join me in the back of the Suzuki. Now the first thing I want to show you from this side is we do have a little kind of picnic table here with two cup holders that kind of pop down like so. It's a little neat touch. And the passenger side on the left here has two individual storage bits there. Do you know, maybe for, like, I call them map pockets, but put your iPad, whatever you want in there. But yeah, that's quite a cool little design detail. And so, and also behind here we do have one large map pocket as well, lined with the fuzzy stuff so things aren't going to rattle around. Now this car is full of quirks and features. We do have things like your little sun glare visor on the side there, electric windows, which is nice to see on a compact car, and a cup holder. Now, as you can see, there's plenty of legroom, plenty of headroom. This car really is optimising space. Now, there's a little lever at each side of the seat. Allows you to give you the adjustability, so if you wanted to make room in the rear boot, don't know if you want to carry extra shopping, whatever it may be, we can do so. And we can also pull this little here, so if you want to lie back a little bit, you do have that for longer journeys. So this car has been well thought out. Now on this side of the car I'm sitting at, we also have a little bit of storage in there that has a 12 volt power outlet, don't know, to charge any little goodies in there. And it's also worth mentioning, on the C-pillar, these little windows at the side here do have the heating elements in there for winter, so you're going to have the rear window and the side rear windows all defrosting nice and toasty when you've got those icy mornings here in Scotland. So up and top here in the middle of the roof, we do have air vents for the rear passengers. Don't know if you can close them if you want and adjust the fan speed. Again, another cool, neat design touch, a feature you do not get in small cars. And also on the floor mats, they do have a little outline of this particular Suzuki as well. We've got outdoor life, and I think that's a really cool design detail. So as we make our way to the front of the car, I want to show you the door card on the car. So we do have loads of little nooks and crannies to store stuff. Now this has got the option extra fitted of these little mats that the white ones absorb the UV light and glow in the dark. So how cool is that for a little feature? So each of these little bits here have all got those glow in the dark features. We do have, of course, electric windows, and there is your mechanical door lock. Now let's have a look at the interior of the car. Now the first thing I want to show you is the seat. Now you may be thinking that just looks like a standard seat, what you're going on about, but actually it's got a little pull tab here. That lifts up. Not only do you have storage underneath the seat base here, it also has a little basket here, so you're able to go and carry things that you might want, first aid kit, emergency shopping basket, whatever it may be. It's a really fun storage solution. And underneath there is a lithium-ion battery for the hybrid powertrain as well, which is easy to access. So yeah, I just wanted to show you that because I think that's a really cool quirk of this car. Now, if we step inside, being a Japanese car, we do have the flare. This is an electronic flare in case you break down, located in the side here. And this is where things get interesting. So you may be looking at this dash, looking at all this design detail. First thing off the bat, we do have a little DVD player in here underneath this storage cover here, which does have like a crisscross pattern. It reminds me of like a jerry can for petrol. And then this bit here pulls out, and we've got the cup holder again with that UV absorbing little mat in there for glow in the dark. How cool is that for a feature? And then this shelf pulls out for a tissue box holder as well, very Japanese. And then we have a very large glove box, as you can see as well. Not lined with fuzzy stuff, but it's pretty large, like so. So when you're sitting in the driver's seat of the car, we do have all around electric windows, auto for the driver, and mirror controls there on the right hand side, electric with electric folding, which is nice to see, and a big grab handle to close the door. Now, all the materials in the car do feel very nice, you know, pretty much what you'd expect from a Suzuki. You know, I wasn't expecting the most premium materials going ahead, but I'm very impressed getting in today. It feels like something like a Suzuki Swift or something like that. Now, the car does have keyless go and keyless entry. Down on the right hand side here, we've got that aftermarket switch for the fog lights, and two buttons here to open the rear doors electronically and close them, as well as your start, stop, defeat. And then down here is the toll card reader for the Japanese highways. Now we'd also have your full filler cap there, and then your bonnet release down on the right. Now on top of the dash we have little cup holders in here. This car is lined with a little carpet to prevent the dash cracking and getting damaged. And let's talk about some of the buttons and features on the steering wheel. On the left hand side we do have your volume control and your modes. Right hand side is things like your cruise control and your lane departure warning, and we do have little paddles behind the steering wheel. So we've got the hazards in the middle here, a little shelf unit, again you can put your phone or something, heated seats, USB-C chargers down there, USB-A and a 12 volt power outlet again there. Now on the right hand side here we do have some more buttons like parking sensor to feet. You can turn off the front forward collision as well as traction control and other features down there. So to start the car up I'm just going to put the keys in the little fob there, foot in the brake, and that little car's going to come to life. 0.6 litres, and we've got the heads up display just in the distance up here. Now what I quite like about the car is everything's quite big car technology that you'd expect. We've got things like, we've got the 360 degree camera, we've got the aircon here, we've got physical buttons here for the temperature and the fan speed, as well as you can see for your recirculated air, and down here is your heated seats that we've seen earlier on, all the way down for manual, drive, neutral, reverse, and then P for park. And when you're in reverse you'll see we've got the 360 camera as well as a reversing camera and some Japanese popping up, and we're able to change between camera lens angles, which is really cool as well, touch of a button, and it's even got that little bit when you're reversing to prevent you crashing into something, which is quite a neat safety feature. So the passengers got these two rectangular air vents on the left hand side, and then on the centre here we've got one little small circular air vent which you can twist to open, and then we've got one other rectangular one on the right hand side here for the driver. Now visibility is great as what you'd expect in a K car, very boxy as I mentioned on the exterior. We do have glass in the A-pillars, it just means visibility out is just fantastic all around the cabin. And just like what we've seen in the rear, we do have a little mirror reflector there, so if you're parking you can kind of see down at the curb, which is another neat touch. But I just can't get away with the size of the headroom and everything in this car. It's really tall, really practical. I'll flip the camera around so you can see me. So I am 5'11" and I have acres of headroom up here. Like, I literally cannot get as much as this is expecting. This is huge, probably larger than what I'd expect in some large SUVs. It's like a really cavernous vehicle, and it makes you wonder why I don't get more cars like this in the UK, because like it's just so practical. It's a very spacious vehicle, plenty of shoulder room, plenty of knee room, headroom. Overall it's a really spacious place to be, and as you can see, room in the back for two. And yeah, it's going to suit most lifestyle needs, especially being all-wheel drive as well, just adding that capability for the wet, damp roads of winter. Now the gauge cluster, we do have an analog gauge here for your speed. This car has been converted to miles per hour, and then we do have a digital readout there to tell you things like your trip computer, you've got your fuel gauge and other bits of information in there with the black and white font. And we do have the heads-up display, which I think is quite a neat touch. So if I zoom in a little bit here, we can push the HUD button and we can change between different modes there. So you're able to see how many, your fuel consumption, battery, revs, whatever it may be. Obviously kilometers per litre because it is a Japanese import. But yeah, I really like that touch. And again, you don't really expect to see a heads-up display in a small car, but we do have it on this vehicle. Now, also worth mentioning, we do have these rather large sun visors. As you can see, they're probably about the size of A4 paper, if not larger, but I guess they're that large because the roof is so tall and coming down to block out any of unwanted daylight. Also have a little kind of cutout there, I guess, for cards or whatever it may be, and a little mirror as well. All in all, that's quite a neat touch. And then we've got an SOS button there for calling Japan for reinforcements. And then we've got some lights in here as well, which are rather bright, so I'll leave that indoor, but that was a really bright LED in there. Infotainment does have these touch capacitive buttons at the below. We've got shortcuts, you can turn the volume on and off, and you can slide between like menu, smartphone, link, etc. If we were in Japan, you could use the TV button, but the little aerial does not pick it up.
And if you can't catch
but the radio works.
Dalmatians in Oxford.
Now you get a little graph here to show you some of the vehicle information, which is quite nice. And and this little readout here to show you engine and electricity to see what wheels are dragging. Now this is the all-wheel drive model, but front wheel drive is standard. And if I touch this big button here, we're going to get a 360-degree camera. You can pause that at any point, as well as get a 360 spin, which is pretty much what you see in some larger products that we've seen in the Lexus RX, for example. I think that's a really cool feature. Under the bonnet we have a 648cc engine. It's a 3-cylinder and it's good for about 64 PS or 98 Newton meters of torque. Now it does have a 5-speed automatic transmission and it uses a 27 litre fuel tank. Now that's good for a claimed range of 535 kilometres. The owner tells me he's getting about 300 miles of range from a petrol tank here in the UK, and it's costing him around £30 on premium petrol to run it here. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching this video on the Suzuki Spacia Gear. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel below, and make sure to check out Dan's car on Instagram. His Instagram is @Spacia Gear UK. I will see you all next video. Thanks for watching. Ciao.